you. My name is Melissa, and this is Luann. And I'm really glad that you are here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference between a nonprofit business and a for-profit business to begin with. Then we'll go over the Big Brothers Big Sisters business kind of model, and then Luann is going to talk to you about what it means to be a mentor and maybe how you can get involved. So who knows anything about a nonprofit business in comparison to a for-profit business? Excellent. Okay, because we are unconventional in our office, we have decided that we are going to do a game show for the beginning of this lecture, the nonprofit game show. So, yeah, all right, good. All right, I want you to have fun with this, all right? You're totally allowed to. So we have two noisemakers, and it's a little crazy. Woo! Okay, so what we're going to do is I have 10 questions. I need 20 volunteers to participate, to answer each question. Whoever squeezes their buzzer first and knows the answer to the question gets a prize. That's how game shows work, right? Let me just tell you, it's a color-changing cup.
Oh my God.
I know. It's the coolest thing ever. Okay. Can you open it? Okay, so is this on? We put it on? Yep. Da 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 da! Nonprofit quiz show. All right, I need 2 volunteers here. Here? And you guy, you back there with the tie. Yep. Okay, so you want to see how it goes first. You got to try it out. Okay, here is your first question. A nonprofit organization cannot make a profit, true or false? I think. You heard the zebra first?
Did I hear the zebra first? What was it?
What? I thought I heard the cow first. What'd you guys think?
Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, go.
The zebra? Okay, what is your answer?
They can make a profit, they just don't use it for the same conventional ways that a regular business.
Very good. Take a cup.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we'll hold this. All right. So now you have to listen to me talk about why this is false. We can make a profit. The difference is we cannot distribute it back out to the employees. So there are no bonuses in the nonprofit world. All profit has to go back into the business. That can be an endowment that we use to fund the agency forever. I can't say that word. Or it could be, like getting materials or supplies that we need, or putting it back into our operating budget, paying off debt. But there are no bonuses. All right. Next 2 volunteers. You? Seriously? All right, there you go.
Maybe if you stand over there.
I know. I'm going to start voluntolding people.
Yeah, one stand over there with the.
Oh.
Yeah, that might be.
Is that, yes? All right. So I guess you're over here with the zebra, yeah. That's okay. All right. Here is your question. True or false, a nonprofit organization is exempt from paying taxes? I hear the horse. Yeah? Okay. What's your answer?
False.
It's true most of the time.
No, it says most of the time. Not entirely wrong.
Yeah, they can choose to pay taxes. Okay, so we do not pay annual income tax. We are also exempt from state sales tax, and businesses will ask us for that. If we purchase a product from them, they have to have this little form on file from us to make sure that we are tax exempt. These are all separate processes. So just because you're exempt from federal taxes as a nonprofit doesn't mean you're automatically exempt from state taxes. You have to apply for that as well. All right, next two volunteers. Seriously, I'm going to choose you. Okay, go ahead. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, come on up. All right, Cal's got to win some here. True or false, a nonprofit organization incorporates just like a for-profit? It was a what? It was the zebra? Oh, okay, what do you think?
True.
Yes. Go ahead, take a cup. It is true. We incorporate just the same way that a for-profit business would when they're first starting out. The difference, though, is that we have to do a separate 501c3 application, which is part of the tax code. And then there's all this gobbledygook about the term, what tax exempt means. It's net profits, proceeds over above expenses, exempt from federal and state. Okay, so this is the important part down here. A nonprofit organization can be established by incorporating the entity, but it's not automatically tax exempt. That is, again, another process. So as you're working in the business field, and let's say you decide you want to serve on a nonprofit board, and somebody is like, oh yeah, let's start another nonprofit. Boo, that's a bad idea. And here's why. Because there are over 5,000 nonprofits alone in like Lancaster County. We are creating these crazy amounts of nonprofits when a larger parent organization could easily help you provide the service. And when you are busy starting a nonprofit, you are taking away from the mission. The stuff that you're passionate about, helping kids, working with families in poverty. You're not doing that while you're creating a nonprofit business for that whole year, sometimes year and a half that it takes you. And you're raising money to pay for those funds to start the nonprofit rather than helping people. So that is one piece of advice that I have for you. Look for another organization to take you under its wing. Okay, two more volunteers. I see a hand back there. I see two hands. All right, come on up. Nice to meet you. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Here's your zebra. All right, you ready? A primary benefit to being a 501c3 is, A, we can accept candy from strangers. 2, we get donations and charitable gifts. And 3, aliens from outer space as employees. What's your answer?
I'm going to guess B.
C is possible, but B is truly the answer. So go ahead and take a cup there. This is obviously a gimme. Donations can only be given to a 501c3 that are then written off on a corporate tax form or on a personal tax form. So if you're giving a donation to a service organization that's not a 501c3, that is not a donation that you can write off on your taxes. But of course, that's not the only reason why we want people to give. We want people to give because they believe in the charity and they believe in the mission of the organization. Okay, 2 more volunteers. I'm going to pick somebody who's avoiding eye contact with me. You, sir. And you get to pick somebody. Okay. Nope. Wait till you get your cow. Here we go. Oh, that was the answer. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Nonprofits cannot hold bank accounts, receive income from sales, hold and make investments, pay staff, pay board members, or own assets? E? That is correct. Go ahead and take a cup. Thank you. Okay, so nonprofits can do all of the other things. We have to hold bank accounts, obviously. We can receive income from sales. The portion of that that exceeds what it costs us to provide the service. So like when we have a special event, we have a gala in January. We sell tickets for that. The cost of the event probably costs us half of what the ticket is sold for. So that sale covers our cost, and then the remainder is the charitable gift. Does that make sense? Okay. We should hold and make investments because we can't rely on people to continually give and give and give. We need to be making investments that last forever, and then we live off of the interest of those, and those are called endowments. We do get paid. We do. Okay. Typically, when you work for a nonprofit, the pay scale is not as high as a for-profit company, but we like to say that you have a quality of life because you're working in the nonprofit field, and typically your hours are more manageable, and we are very family-friendly as a nonprofit group. Board members do not get paid. They are all volunteers. And they are going to be management from the companies that you're going to be working in. And then, of course, we also can own assets. Big Brothers Big Sisters currently does not own any assets because we are in a building where we get a reduced rent from a donor who wants us in his business. So it's not necessary. And then, of course, we don't do profit sharing in a nonprofit. Okay, next question. I need 2 more volunteers. Why are you guys so shy? Yes, because you didn't win last time. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Zebra seems lucky. So can I go
All right,
to Zebra?
yeah, go for it, go for it.
Oh no.
All right, here we go. Nonprofits file a 990, a federal income tax form, or the child tax credit form.
I'm gonna go with B.
What's your guess?
A.
Yes, okay, go ahead, take a cup.
No, I knew it.
She knew. All right, so we file an annual 990 form. That is the nonprofit tax form, and it is typically conducted by an auditing company because it's just as complicated as another tax form. It's just called a 990. It lists all of our annual revenue and expenses. It discloses the 5 highest paid staff or anyone making over $50,000 a year for the organization. And most 990s are available on this guidestar.org. So if you're interested in what that looks like, you can go to guidestar.org. All right, 2 more volunteers. Yep. All right, I promise this will not last forever. We will actually get to normal talking after this. Okay, here's your question. True or false? All nonprofit organizations use volunteers. Oh, I heard the cow.
No. Right?
It's true. All nonprofit organizations use volunteers. All right, sorry. All board members are volunteers, and all nonprofits must have a volunteer board of directors. So there's not any organization that doesn't use any volunteers. And these volunteers actually accomplish work for the organization. We are a staff of 6, and our board is currently 15 members. We're hoping to get up to 20. And they work really hard, but this is their volunteer work. Some of them do this because their companies have said, we want you to be involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Other people say, personally, this organization is important to me. And other people said, oh, I just want some nonprofit experience on a board. Big Brothers Big Sisters looks good. So it just kind of depends. All right, I think we have one more question. Okay, so I need 2 more volunteers. Very good, thank you. Did I see another hand over here? No? Oh, there's a hand back there. Okay, ready? Here we go. True or false? Volunteers are more generous financial donors than non-volunteers. What's your guess?
True.
Yes. Go ahead, take a cup. Thank you. It is true that volunteers give more to organizations. They provide more of their wow, that's up there twice. They provide a lot of their time, twice. They give freely of their knowledge and ideas because they're invested more in the organization. If you just write a check, you don't know any more about the organization, but if you volunteer and you write a check, you know a lot about how that organization functions. They also give more money than people who are just asked to give. They stay longer. They volunteer for other causes. So when I hear that somebody this is the only place that they're going to volunteer, I get a little nervous about that. I want them to be invested in 2 or 3 other places because they're going to be a more invested volunteer. And this comes from research. This is a research project that was done by the 4 People organization in Australia. And they speak highly of the organization. So the best way for us to get more donors and to get more people to support us is by people speaking highly of us. If you hear that a nonprofit is struggling or that their management is really poor or their services are really horrible, who's going to give to that? Who's going to want to get involved? Okay, I think that was the last question. Oh, no. Okay, need 2 more volunteers. Have you volunteered yet? Come on, come on. Oh God, not me, was his response. Okay, pick somebody. Okay, you ready? Here's your question. True or false? The primary function of any board member is to raise funds. Oh, I heard the cow. True, yes, go ahead, take a cup. Board members, their primary function is to make sure that the organization is legally and fiscally operating as it should be. So they are asked often to be a donor themselves. How can they go out and ask somebody for money if they're not giving themselves? And we don't have a dollar amount for that. If somebody is involved with us because they truly care about the organization, but they're not, pulling down a high salary, it's give wherever you feel financially comfortable. And we can take what we call an in-kind gift as well as a cash gift. In-kind is services or goods. Okay, is that it? Whoa, oh gosh, I have a lot of questions. Okay, 2 more volunteers. We're gonna pick you. You, Smiley, back there, come on. He was smiling. Okay, you could pick somebody. All right, here's your question. What governs board operations? Rules of engagement, the Minister of Silly Walks, bylaws and articles of incorporation, or the Nonprofit Congress? Yes, very good. Take a cup. Okay. All nonprofits operate by standards that are set in the Articles of Incorporation and their bylaws. Articles of Incorporation are what you file with the government when you establish a corporation, and the bylaws are how your board and the organization functions, kind of what are the parameters, who is leadership, how do you decide things, what is the fiscal year, when does your board meet. All those things are kind of in there. We do review the bylaws at least every 5 years, but the Articles of Incorporation are rarely changed. Oh my, okay. One more. Yay! You guys are so excited. Okay. Purple.
Purple man. Bring up a friend there.
Yep,
too.
bring up a friend. There you go. It's the buddy system. Okay. All right, here's your question. What governs staff operations? The state budget, your boss's idiosyncrasies, or the strategic plan? Yes. Yes, very good. Take a cup. So the strategic plan is developed every 3 to 5 years in a nonprofit, and it is written with staff and board input, but it is the vehicle so that I know what strategies are we going to be implementing over the next couple of years, how much money do I need to raise for that, and then all of our staff work plans are generated from that as well. Oh, thank goodness, right? It really was the last question. Okay. So Big Brothers Big Sisters is a mentoring organization, and we serve children facing adversity in one-to-one mentoring relationships. So we are a national organization, so we're kind of like McDonald's. We're healthier for you than McDonald's, but we're kind of like McDonald's in that when you walk into this fast food restaurant, you know what the menu is going to look like, you know what services to expect, and you know that the product is kind of going to be the same. Big Brothers Big Sisters is kind of the same way all across the nation. When you go into a Big Brothers Big Sisters, you will see the service is the same, the vision, the mission, the parameters in which we operate are all the same, and all of our outcomes are very similar because we implement the program in the same way. So all Big Brothers Big Sisters have this vision and mission, and these 3 bullet points on the bottom are things that we can actually measure. Those are our outcomes, or outcome areas, I should say. So this is kind of our flow chart of how things work. So we work in the community to engage partners. So some of our partners right now include the Office of Juvenile Probation, because we're looking at first-time, low-risk offenders who typically will stay in the system even though they don't belong there. So we're looking to serve those kids with mentors rather than keeping them in the juvenile justice system. We work with school districts. We work with other companies or social service agencies that might want to get involved with mentoring. So all of the and all of the children that we serve have to be facing some type of adversity. Sometimes we get calls and people say, "Oh, I want to mentor for my kid because it looks fun." That's not why we're in business. It is a lot of fun, but it's for children facing adversity because they don't have the supports in their lives that are going to help them overcome those adversities. So we match them one-to-one. We don't do group mentoring in Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's only one adult, one child. Sometimes we'll match a big couple with a child, but that's as bad as groupie as it gets. We then measure educational success attitudes and competencies, and risky behavior avoidance. So we can demonstrate that kids graduate from high school more often when they're part of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that they avoid drugs and alcohol and the juvenile justice system, all because they had a mentor. It's kind of crazy, the outcomes that we can produce with this. And then the bigger impact of this is, of course, if we have more high school graduates, that's better for our economy overall. It creates a safer community. It creates a community where there are less people pulling their income from social service agencies. And we have a better prepared workforce. So that's why it's so important that we are preparing children now to be part of the business world. This is our organizational chart. The children are in the middle, down here. Children and the families we serve. The bigs, we call our mentors bigs, and the children that we serve the littles. So the bigs surround the families because they are closest to those children. Then we have the program staff, then the administrative staff, the board of directors outside of that, and then the funders, donors, and the community. I see a lot of you taking pictures. Is there a way that we can get you the slides? Would that help? Yes? Okay. Well, we'll talk with Lisa about that. Okay. So this is our staff. Like I said, we have 6 people. I'm the executive director. I do all of the fundraising and management for the organization. Cheryl Taylor is the program director, so she is the one actually measuring all of the outcomes and implementing new programs when we get them. Luann Smith over here is our school-based coordinator, and she'll talk a lot about that as we move on the presentation. Mark Simpson is our partnership coordinator, which basically means he does enrollment and matching. If you are interested in becoming a big in our community-based program, you talk with Mark first. Jenna Snader is match support specialist, and we'll talk about match support and why it's so important later. And then Jennifer Gongora is our administrative assistant. This is my board of directors, and you'll see that we have them in classes. And that's because there are term limits. We don't want somebody serving on the board of directors forever and ever and ever, unless they're a really good board member or they're a really good donor, right? And sometimes you just get those like wet blankets on the board and you're like, man, I can't wait till that person's done. That's what term limits help you do. They help you rotate people off and bring in new people with fresh ideas. So the class of 2014, they were all just re-elected to another term of service because they're all really great board members. This next class will come up with in May. We will reintroduce another slate, and we'll talk to these people about whether or not they want to continue on with their boards, with our board. Every term of service is 3 years. We do not have a limit on how many terms of service a board member can serve. But we do have the right not to invite somebody back. These are our funders. We are a United Way partner agency, which means that we are in partnership with them to make community change. The Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency funds us because we do reduce the usage on the juvenile justice system. Same thing with the Drug and Alcohol Commission. We're a prevention program. So they also give us money every year to operate our programs. The Community Foundation funds innovative programs, and we do have a couple of those. Wells Fargo, these are all, like, that's a bank foundation, so I write a grant to them every year, and they give us money to fund our programs. It's nice that way. The Robert Gunterberg Foundation funds all of our activities that we do with the bigs. So if we want to take them to the movies or we want to go to Hershey Park, that's where those funds come from, so that they're not coming from donors. And then the Abigail Longenecker Foundation is also another supporter. So this isn't a comprehensive list, but it just gives you a good idea that there are government agencies, there are foundations, and there are other nonprofits that fund us. We also get funding from corporations. And the reason why a corporation would want to fund us is, again, because we create a better prepared workforce. And it is good for them to be part of the community. Some of them give to us because it's truly philanthropic, like the Garber Metrology and the Granger Foundation. They don't want anything in return from us. They just want to support our programming. But some of the other, like Turkey Hill and like Kohl's Cares, they give to us because we can give them mileage on their marketing dollars. So if we have an event, we put their logo up on everything that we do, and they get promotion at the same time, showing that they are a charitable organization. And it really doesn't cost us anything to promote them as part of that organization. And quite frankly, we have costs that we have to pay for. So those corporate sponsorships help us offset those costs to the fundraisers that we operate. These are our 3 events that we have. So dodgeball we already had. That was pretty crazy this year. We had some insane injuries. We have a Men Cooking from the Heart event where we have 40 different gentlemen in the community, could be one of you if you're a really good chef, come and they serve a sample size of their food to the 400 people that attend, and then people vote for the best chef through that, and that's how we raise money. And then Bowl for Kids' Sake is a standard fundraising activity that all Big Brothers Big Sisters do across the nation. And it's you know, they call it a sporting event, but it's bowling. And you know, people are really giving back to the agency. They know it's not really about bowling for that day, but it's fun to get a team together, raise some extra funds, and then participate as a group. Any questions about this part that I just rambled through? No? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Luann.
How are we on time?
Ooh.
We're okay?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
11:30, you're good.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right.
Do you need a mic, Luann?
Oh.
I'm okay not standing
Okay.
behind that. If you guys can all hear me okay.
Can you see her?
You don't have to see me. You just have to hear me. So you might be sitting there thinking, okay, well, so why business students should care about mentoring youth, or why as a future business leader should you care about this? If you think about where you are in your life right now, think about the kids that we have in our program right now. As you go through college, you start your own businesses. Guess who are going to be your young employees? The kids that are in our program right now. So that's why you want to make sure that these kids are getting mentors in their life, so that there can be a better productive workforce. There's been a big shift in the last few years for businesses to start getting more and more involved in their community. A lot more companies are making community involvement part of their short-term and long-term strategic plans. There's both internal and external benefits to a business when they partner with a nonprofit youth mentoring organization. One of the internal benefits, again, a more skilled workforce. You have your employees who are out there seeing, interacting with folks that maybe they don't usually interact with, seeing different cultures, working with people from different family structures, people that have different socioeconomical backgrounds. So it's really going to help your employees as far as their perspective on what's really in their community. Obviously then too, when they're out in their community getting involved, it's going to enhance their own communication skills. They're going to have a better teamwork approach when they come back to work for you guys on a daily basis. It's going to help them with their own leadership capabilities. So if one of your employees goes out and runs a fundraising campaign for a nonprofit, think about the skills that they're going to be learning through doing that and then bringing back to their own job. Another internal benefit is improved understanding of the community. Again, as managers, when you have a partner with a youth mentoring organization, you're going to be able to better understand your young employees, understand as far as what the current trends are, what the issues are facing young people in your community. with this knowledge, then you as a business leader, and then think about how do you need to tweak your management styles. Think about your product innovation and be able to better plan for that to be successful. Another internal benefit, obviously, is improved staff morale and retention. Especially when we see, when we have the companies come out and get a dodgeball team together, or when they come out and participate in our Bowl for Kids' Sake event. You can definitely see the camaraderie. When you get your staff out of the office, do something fun, do something good for the community, it's going to benefit when they get back to work. They're going to be refreshed. They're going to be rejuvenated. It's a great way for your staff and your employees just to bond together and do something outside of the office. An external benefit for a business to partner with a nonprofit, you show you're being an employer of choice then. So when employees come in and they're interviewing to work at your business, they're looking for a business that's going to align with their own values. They want to go into a business and work for employers that they have an opportunity to get out there and do some volunteerism, and that's going to be supported. So your employees, or your potential employees that you're interviewing, are going to be interviewing you as well. Okay, so it's not just the potential employee that's being interviewed, the employee is going to be interviewing you, and make sure that those values sort of align. Obviously, improved reputation in the community. Building a positive profile, you'll be able to attract, retain customers, suppliers. You're going to have a much better reputation in the community if they see you out there helping with some needs. Obviously, expanding network opportunities. Business, whether it's profit or nonprofit, is all about relationships and relationship building. We do relationship building with all of our new mentors. So before we match them, we train them in relationship building. So think about it as, if you become a mentor with a youth serving organization, you're going to have a training in relationship building. Yes, it's going to be focused on how you build a relationship with the little, but think about those skills that you're going to be learning that you're going to be able to take then back to your own job and out into the community and build those relationships with other businesses. Youth organizations have a lot of connections with government contacts. So if you have a business who's facing some county regulations, state regulations, partnering with a youth organization that might have some of those connections already that would help your business is going to be positive. So now you know a little bit more about Big Brothers Big Sisters. You know, as a business leader or a business student, why it's important to get involved in the community and show that support. There's a lot of great youth organizations out there. So why should you get involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters? Or as a company, why should your company get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters? A lot of different reasons. First of all, we define ourselves by what we do. By what we achieve, not what we do. How are the kids benefiting from the program? And we'll share some of our outcomes that we've seen in our school-based program over the past year. We follow national standards of practice as mandated by our national leadership. So there's standards of practice that we have to follow, such as how we respond, or how quick we respond to a parent who calls us. How quickly are we getting back to them? How are we training our volunteers? How are we supporting our volunteers? There's standards on how we interview, what questions are set up in our interviews so that we can assess, is this going to be a good role model for a child? Or is the child appropriate for, or the service is appropriate for that child? Lots of standards of practice that we have to follow. We have the nationwide measures for what we call strength of relationships. And again, as we match a mentor with a child, we want to make sure that that relationship is developing in a positive direction. So there's lots of different surveys that we do throughout the length of the relationship. We usually do one 3 months into the relationship, so we see how that's moving along to make sure that we're supporting the mentor with whatever they need. We have a service delivery system, and this is where we're talking about match support. It's not like we say, okay, mentor, big brother, big sister, here's your little, and good luck to you. We'll talk to you again in a year. Our match support is very intense. We're required to check in with every match once a month. And not only do we check in with the volunteer, but then we check in with the parent, and we speak with the child as well. So on a monthly basis, we're making contact. In the school-based program, there's a staff person right on site. So, we can monitor how the relationships are going. We can monitor, obviously, child safety is our #1 priority to make sure that the kids in our program are being safe. We have 0 tolerance for child abuse. There's a lot of standards now for us to follow as far as having frank and open discussions with the kids and the parents in our program. We empower the children in our program to be able to protect themselves against child abuse. We help them identify people in their life that they can trust. So if something does happen to them, they can go to those people and get help. Then we have what we call our AIM system, which is Agency Information Management System. And basically, that's our database. That's like our brains of the organization. We can chart all kinds of statistics through there. Again, we can see how fast we're processing volunteers through the system, how fast we're processing kids through the system, keep up with communication logs, documentation that we are required to do. So everything is in AIM, that's what we call it. Some of our programs, and we do the traditional community-based program, which is what most people have heard about, where a mentor goes out with their little a couple times a month, weekends, weeknights. Off of the community-based program, we have a few branches off of that. Our Machi community-based program specifically serves children who have a parent who has currently or previously been incarcerated. Those kids are going through some different issues in their life and dealing with some different feelings. So we have a specific program, and we train our mentors specifically on how to help that child. Our Path to Success program, it's a new program, hopefully getting started this school year. It's with the school district of Lancaster. It's with Reynolds Middle School. And what we're doing is we're taking 7th graders from the middle school who have been identified as a potential dropout. They have truancy issues. So we're going to match those 7th graders with a mentor in our community-based program. But then we're going to allow that 7th grader to now be a big brother or a big sister to a 3rd grader. And they're going to help them in an after-school program. So hopefully that 7th grader then sees the importance of not just staying in school, but now they can help a younger student also stay in school and hopefully get over those truancy issues. And then our Juvenile Diversion Project, which Melissa talked a little bit about, where it's matching a adjudicated youth, a young person who has done something minor, got caught spray painting or, talked back to a cop because they got, they're out past curfew or something like that. So minor offenses, but matching them with a mentor so that they can get through whatever they need to get through for probation and then not get caught up in that cycle. And then our school-based programs. And that's the ones I really want to highlight because as college students, all of you sitting here would be eligible to apply for one of our school or site-based programs. And we have a few of them. We do a Lunch Buddy program here in E-Town at an elementary school, Mill Road, which is over by the movie theater, if you're familiar with town here. It's twice a week. Mentors come in, they have lunch with their little, and then they play at recess. How much easier can you get? And it sounds simple, but every time I talk to the guidance counselor there, what a difference. Just somebody coming in, having lunch, pulling that, and they give us a separate room to do this in. So the guidance counselor even told me what a difference that is for that child just to get out of that loud cafeteria just for a couple days a week and be able to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody that's going to show that interest in them. We do the regular school and site-based programs, which are 2nd to 6th graders. We're down in the city at Carter McRae Elementary. We're also starting a partnership with Arbor Place, which is also another nonprofit organization in the city. It's a youth center. So they do a regular after-school program, but then they supplement with some special programs throughout the week. So we're going to be providing some mentors to some of those kids there. And then here in E-Town, we're up at Bear Creek as well, 1 day a week. Again, it's once a week commitment as far as a college mentor for an hour and a half of your time. And both of those programs are supervised. So you have support from a staff person that's right there. You don't have to supply anything as far as a mentor yourself. You don't have to buy things. You don't have to take them any place. You come, you pay attention to your little, you help them with homework, you share a snack with them, you play a board game, you make a wonderful difference in their life. I'm amazed when I interview some of the kids who live right here in town, and I'm explaining to them who the mentors are in the program. I'll tell them, it's either a high school student or a college student. E-Town College is right here. And they'll look at me, and they won't even realize that there's a college in town. And that just blows my mind as a kid growing up in this community, that they don't even realize, because to them, they're not even thinking about going to college. So matching them up with a college student definitely helps them start thinking about, hey, maybe that is something I can do in my life. And it's maybe not so hard. And then we do a school-based plus program where we work with middle school students here in E-Town. What we found is we used to do an after-school program with the middle school kids, and we'd keep them right in the cafeteria, just like our regular school-based program. 7th and 8th graders don't want to hang out after school in their cafeteria. So we did a plus program where college students will come over, they'll pick up their little right at the school, check in with me, and then they can go off for a couple hours, do their thing, and then they come back and check out with me. So it gives them a little bit more flexibility. It gives the middle school student a little more of a chance to get out of their school a little bit more, do some fun things in the community. Again, some of the college students will bring their littles up here to campus. So what a great way, again, for a middle school student to expose them to college and college life. With that program, it's still some accountability, though, on the part of the mentor, because you're checking in and checking out. As far as our outcomes that we talked about, there's 21 different areas in developmental assets and risk protective factors, okay, which are, like a developmental asset that we'll look at is, we'll chart the child's self-confidence. We'll look at as having a mentor help them build their own interests or increase their own hobbies. We'll look at risk protective factors, which are things like, can this child stay away from peer pressure a little bit better now because they've had a mentor in their life? Can they make some more independent decisions on their own? Can they avoid getting into drugs and alcohol better now because they've had a mentor in their life? We do surveys when we match the kids, so we have a baseline of where they're at in all these areas, and then again throughout the match we're charting all that, and so we have that quality of the match. These are some of the outcomes that we've had from our school-based program over the past school year, okay, so the past year. Availability of constructive recreation. Again, looking at the kids, do they have more interest now? 68% of them either improved or maintained their level of interest. And we look at maintaining as a good thing. That's success, okay? Especially when it comes to things like social competence, their relationship with peers. Maybe that child is already coming into that relationship with, they are able to make good decisions when it comes to peer pressure and things like that. So having a mentor has helped them maintain making good decisions. That's great. That's success. All right? That has helped them not fall back into the negative peer pressure. Okay? And you guys can see, we look at strong family bonding, the relationships that they're having with their family. The relationship that these kids have with other adults in their life, whether it be a teacher, an extended family member, a coach, anybody like that they're interacting with as another adult in their life. A sense of purpose and belief in a bright future. Are they thinking about, what they want to do as far as their future and the goals that they want to have for their life?
Do you have questions? Okay, yeah.
I have a question,
Mhm.
and maybe you covered this when I got to sit down on that. Students that are in your program, how are they selected? Can you explain how they were selected?
Sure, yeah, I can do that. For the clients, for the little brothers and little sisters, in our school-based program, it's typically like the guidance counselor or the teacher who will refer the child. Okay? The parent and guardian have to be involved in that process, though. We actually interview the kids as well as the parents or the guardian, even in our community-based program. So they have to go through the interview process. We get school reports. If the child's in therapy or counseling for anything, we will talk to the third party as well to see, get their professional opinion on the type of mentor that they think will benefit the child, make sure that the services are going to be appropriate. So it's a pretty extensive process for clients, even more for volunteers, obviously, because of child safety. So. But there's a lot of different, single parent families that are financially challenged. It could be a situation where the child has experienced a close death in the family recently. Otherwise, they're a good student. They're making good decisions in their life. They're just going through a tough time at that point in their life. It could be academic support that they're matched, a lot of different A to Z.
When you guys are matching the mentors, is there an occasion where the parents say they don't want a mentor for their child, or if they don't want the mentor for reasons?
That's before we even get to that point. Like part of the interview process with the families and the kids, we run mostly into. We have to be careful when the kids get older because we serve kids that are 7 to 14. So when we get a call for 12, 13, 14-year-old, we really want to make sure that the child wants to do this, that they don't feel that they're being forced into it. So that's all part of like the assessment to begin with. When we go to match then, we make sure we do it like a pre-match with the volunteer first, and then we do a pre-match with the child and the parent. So we'll be able to tell them about the mentor that we have for them. In our community-based program, we do a match introduction. So we'll actually take the mentor over to the child's home. So everybody gets to meet each other first before they officially go out and do their activities. Do we have matches, though, that, run into issues and problems? Yes. I mean, we're dealing with people, so. But that's why match support is always so important for us as well. So, I think I'm not sure what our retention rate is as far as like matches. Like our match. I think our match length for community-based is 3 years.
3.5.
3.5 years, and national average is
2.
2.
So when we match somebody, we do a really good job with it.
It's pretty intense process before that. But yeah, do we have personality conflicts sometimes? Sure.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Any other questions?
We want to thank Melissa and Luann so
Mhm.
much.